It all started out with 17 teams right here in the group stage, and we are down to 8 in the knockout quarter-finals. It is the 2023 Copa Paulino Alcantara as we come to you from the historic Rizal Memorial Stadium. It is Stallion Laguna FC and Maharlika Manila FC and leg 1 of the quarter-finals right here. Levi, group stage done and dusted, and we can say it's a whole new ball game right here.
Well, the stakes are higher here. It's the quarterfinals. Ang kagandahan sa format natin, it's a two-legged quarterfinal here. You don't win it on the first, but for the losing side, you don't lose it on the first. Pwedeng tumabla. But the thing is, it's a long view. You maintain that long view, but you also focus on the 90-minute match, the first 90-minute match, and it's really all a matter for the players to try and execute their game plans both for the short term and the long term.
There's no better way to say it as we are or you are catching this broadcast on the Facebook and YouTube pages of the Philippines Football League. Paki-like, share at subscribe na lang po. And this is Carmanzano on call again alongside Levi Verora. Again, down to 8 teams. We finished leg 1 of quarterfinal 1 and we are on to quarterfinal 2. So teams will again get to play each other twice. Tinototal ang score dito sa dalawang laro just to put it as we can take it over to the starting lineups of our respective squads. First and foremost, we've got Stallion Laguna FC. They did finish as the number 1 ranked team in Group C. And tell us what you see right here, Levi.
Familiar names here for Stallion. Medyo may hype pa ito. Kagagaling lang sa AFC Cup. And they fortified the roster coming from that previous PFL season. And then yung mga bagong salta, they tried to incorporate them to Coach Ernie Niaras' system throughout the group stage. And here we are. And the familiar names here, especially Christian Schaeffner, Vinci Valdez, although he is on the bench. Familiar tong mga player na to sa sistema ng Maharlika. So from the bench, you can argue na they might say a thing or two about Maharlika's game style.
Very, very interesting. As we were talking about it earlier pre-game, who is a player to look out for? Yes, there's so many when we refer to Stallion and Maharlika, but who's one guy perhaps so we could zoom in right here?
Well, player number 8, Finn McDaniel, of course. He is the fire starter for Stallion. No, give him the ball, he's going to distribute it, he can finish. So it really starts with him kapag yung bola nasa attacking half na nila.
The man, of course, who has gotten appearances already with the Philippines national team and a number of call-ups. McDaniel is actually the joint leading scorer of Stallion Laguna with 6 goals to his name, alongside Yuta Nomura, who was also in the starting 11. We are done and dusted with our lineups and our player to look out for Stallion. And let's jump ship this time around dito po sa Maharlika Manila FC. And these guys have been on a tear lately, Levi, after that difficult Philippines Football League campaign.
Alam mo, Clara, yung group phase record ng Maharlika already equaling yung kanilang entire PFL season. And that's the positive attribute that you want to really associate with them. The mood is better. The management just making sure that everything is smooth sailing. And syempre, umpisa na natin kay number 2, Tyler John has provided Maharlika with one of their 2 victories in Group B. They finished number 2. And then you have MJ Canicosa, also known as MJ Libre, a distributor from the middle. He's not just a holding mid, can also come forward and attack. And then everywhere else, ang maganda dito sa Maharlika for this tournament, for the Copa, every position, they have quality players. And that's really what elevated their level to the next.
We can say Maharlika have been able to retool themselves over the off-season. Pero yung maganda rito, may mga core players pa rin sila. When we look at their lineup, there is the likes of Michael Sims, there's Christian Hamon also. These guys who have professional experience, we can say, in the PFL, as the Copa is an open tournament that allows amateurs to mix it up with the pros. As, of course, we review the respective teams' road to the knockouts o yung mga group stage results nila. Stallion again, we're Group C's number 1 seed. Yung Maharlika Manila, on the other hand, finished in second place in Group B. These are both Philippines Football League sides, we could say. And they convincingly punched their tickets dito sa ating knockout rounds. None of these teams here from the two had to take the third place route. Medyo mahirap ngayon, Libay, no?
Exactly. And ang kagandahan rin dito sa Copa, nakita natin yung level ng mga regular member teams. Pinakita nila talaga yung kalidad nila. They all qualified, all 5 member clubs of the PFL qualified for the quarterfinals, leaving 3 for the guest teams who are trying to prove, of course, na they belong to the level of the highest local pro clubs here in the country.
Of course, trying to prove themselves. And Commissioner Coco Torre did say, in fact, that the initiative here of allowing amateur, collegiate, and armed forces teams to mix it up here with the PFL big guns is to build up that football pyramid dito sa Pilipinas. And at the same time, gauge where are these teams relative to the PFL clubs. At yung maganda syempre, yung PFL teams get to participate in the likes of the AFC Champions League, as the case for Kaya FC Iloilo and Cebu FC and Stallion Laguna FC. Sa AFC Cup, parang yung second tier nila dun.
Absolutely. I think with the current complexion of our league and the season, it's really just raising the bar for all of the clubs here locally.
As we have the pre-match walk-in about to begin, it is the 2023 Copa Paulino Alcantara. It is Stallion Laguna FC and Maharlika Manila FC. Pretty much done and dusted with our walk-in and starting 11 photos as we see our skippers and our team officials. Si Chris Mark Nanyola ay ang ating referee, si Kim Zoren Abuela at Aldos Mira Fuentes ay ang linesman. Si KB Nanyola ay ang ating fourth official. At kita nga natin ang team captain Finn McDaniel of Stallion Laguna FC at si Yosuke Suzuki of Maharlika Manila. And we could see again, Stallion were very loose sa ating pre-match walk-in. They are on a tear and have remained confident despite of their setbacks. And the Maharlika Manila, on the other hand, are absolutely locked in, we could say.
Absolutely, and also like their kits. Looking sharp in those all black kits. In contrast naman, of course, Stallion, their familiar hot pink and white in contrast.
Teams just running through their respective final huddles. And what is something to point out is that this is actually the very first knockout match of Maharlika Manila FC in their very young history. Quite an achievement, we could say. Stallion Laguna are locked in again, and they mean business. And there's another look at our player to look out for the team in pink in Finn McDaniel, and he is their skipper today, as Matt Nieras and Balot Doctora are on the bench. And we're referring to our other player to look out for, Levi, sa Maharlika Manila FC naman.
Well, of course, Tyler John, again, scored in the group stage, provided Maharlika one of their 2 wins. It's really all about raising the level here for Maharlika.
And there's definitely nowhere to go but up, and they have shown us that continuous improvement. Team owner and manager for this tournament of Maharlika, and Ethan Lee said he is absolutely thrilled. Ito daw baptism of fire niya, as it is his first time to take the managerial role also, and he is happy that they've been able to maximize their limited resources, and he emphasized the job's not done. Stallion Laguna, on the other hand, are that team with rich history. They have 2 Copa Paulino Alcantara bronze medals in their cabinet already, and of course in the UFL days, trophies too. And we are off. Stallion Laguna kicked off this match, and as we mentioned earlier, they are in their pink and white uniforms. Ang Maharlika Manila FC ay nakaitim ngayon. So kickoff right now, Levi, what do you expect from the 2 teams?
Alam mo, Claro, what's interesting about Maharlika, every time they face Stallion, it's a close fight. Kung maalala natin in that bubble season, very shortened season, you can say maybe a conference, nasilat ng Maharlika yung Stallion. And previously, from the PFL, it's just a 1-0 nail-biter for Stallion. So expect Maharlika to put up a fight against their counterparts.
And that's exactly what they were showcasing right here. And possession will go their way. We saw Tyler John getting active already from the get-go. And when you mentioned those close-fought battles, Maharlika did get their inaugural victory in that PFL bubble season that you mentioned against Stallion Laguna. Stallion, on the other hand, or when we refer to that close-fought game last PFL, an absolute classic that saw Toto Bidia find the back of the net. But here's a chance now. Cross appeared to go low mula kay Charlie Beaton, at nandito na sa kabila na kay Finn McDaniel. Schaeffner up against his former team. Routine save there by Yusuke Suzuki. Definitely not a problem at all.
Quite an easy catch to make for Suzuki. I believe that was the left foot also of Schaeffner, who again previously played for Maharlika. May mga maaaring ibulong to sa coaching staff just in terms of what to expect in terms of the gameplay, the game style of Maharlika.
100%, as there is a throw-in. Play to be resumed by Belgira. And assessing his options, Ivanovsky. So the mistouches on their end. It will go to Maharlika. Down the line with great distance. Na kay Bonanken. So 2 foreign players as the center backs of Stallion FC. Nakita nga natin dati madalas central midfielder si Bonanken, pero pangalawang laro na po ito where Bonanken is the defender. Combinations, they're trying to work their way in the other end. Nasa gitna naman. Schaeffner, got it to McDaniel. The loose touch, na kay Suzuki na naman. Suzuki, the Filipino-Japanese. He picked up his education in Brent International School and at the University of the Philippines. Now through the middle, but it is sent out and about dito mula kay Noy Felonco. 2 shots, but not really how they wanted to get going, Levi. But
A bit of a tentative start here for Stallion. And got to give credit to Maharlika's back four as well. That's quite a pretty solid back line that they have.
so 2 shots, 1 off target, the other on target though, but not enough to trouble the keeper. Schaffner trying to find Charlie Beaton. There's another look at our central midfielder, or Stallion central midfielder, Christian Schaffner. Yan din si MJ Libre. And Libre is back again with his team that gave him his professional debut. Kasi kung naalala natin, nag-Mindiola FC siya.
Right.
In the PFL. Played back. Laguna trying to secure, pero nakuha ni Libre. Storming through. He does have that footwork, of course. Wazawi. Pero nakuha ng depensa ng Stallion. Ito na si Ivanovsky. Nagmamadali. Binigay kay McDaniel. McDaniel pa rin. Our 2 players to look out for going at it, but this ball just slightly overcooked. Contrasting styles of play from the 2 teams.
And I think for Stallion, napapansin natin, they're going high right away. They're trying to just catch Maharlika off guard. And that's, of course, one of the aspects of Maharlika's game that they had to fine-tune. Sometimes yung mga pass back medyo errant. I think that's the strategy right now for Stallion. They're trying to pounce on that attacking third.
Pepito released it to Bonanken. And it's also very interesting. Yung kanilang striker ngayon ay si Michael Sims. We'll get to that later on. Beaton got to chest it down. Pride pa rin. Ball kept in play. Great work rate. Try to cut it back. Maharlika says safety first. Schaffner binigay dito. Pride connecting the cross. Looks like that was batted away initially. Tama, corner kick po yan dito. It was Noy Felonco just giving that dangerous ball with his wit and experience.
Absolutely, just trying to chip that ball towards that direction. And Suzuki being made to work early on, 7 minutes in.
Definitely the busier of the 2 keepers so far in this young match. This ball overcooked. Nako ni Felonco. Pero outside daw ang tawag natin. And when we were talking about Michael Sims playing up front, ang dahilan dun, nasanay kami, madalas fullback siya dito sa ating squad sa Maharlika.
That's the versatility that he has. Same with Jello Factoranan, especially from the left side. Yung dalawang player na yan, they either play the seams from the back line and they can rush forward.
And also with this Maharlika squad, Coach Dave Basa, again, relative to last PFL, has been elevated from starting center back to coach, as it is with Libre. Makita nga natin sa team sheet, Canicosa ang kanyang apelyido, but Canicosa is his mother's name, which he also carries, of course. And just showing off his skills. You never get used to that. Let's face it.
Alam mo, MJ Libre has a futsal background from Endaran. Is of course a native of Tondo. You admire the story as well. One of the few players coming from Tondo who, has made it mainstream in the football scene.
And this is great. Of course, the people from there can say, uy, idol ko to si Kuya MJ. Of course. Chance now on the left. Maharlika getting a promising spell. And sorry, that was some commentator's curse from my end. Babalik ang bola rito sa Stallion.
Well, so far, 9 minutes in, it's been Stallion getting a bigger chunk of the possessions here. Playing from right to left. We've seen that ball oftentimes dun sa kaliwa ng inyong mga screens sa ating mga manonood.
Well, one thing to point out is that Maharlika did say their intention is to play defensive-minded football. Ang dahilan dun, respeto na respeto nila ang atake ng Stallion Laguna FC.
And I think given the formations, Stallion with their customary 4-3-3, Maharlika they're at 4-1-4-1. Usually they form a diamond dun sa mismong gitna ng ating field. But again, with the priority sa defense.
And here's a chance now, but that was poked away by the Maharlika defense. Great work from Christian Hamon, denying a potential opportunity for Finn McDaniel.
Excellent ball. Kita natin dun sa replay, just threading that needle. Thumbs up sign given by Finn. I think second corner already for Stallion early on.
So let's see how they'll be able to utilize this in hopes of getting on the scoreboard. And be wary of Maharlika in the counter-attack. That is where they have been able to wow us, of course, and get the results, we could say. Libre going to get past his man. Kay Ivanovsky.
That's a great stop by Schaeffner right there. Delaying the attack and dispossessing them at the same time.
But here's a chance once more. Libre connecting with Hamon. And here comes the cross. Headed away by Placito. Uy. And there's Beaton tracking down. Tight spaced to work here. Belgira. And again, you see the discipline of the Maharlika defense getting into formation. They will look to frustrate this Stallion offense.
But offensively, Stallions pretty much patient as well with their approach. It's one pass at a time.
Patience will be the key here for the two contrasting styles. There is this attacking-oriented game of Coach Herninieras. He did emphasize that they like to run as much as they could throughout the 90 minutes. Coach Dave Basso, we could say, in his relatively young coaching career, although he is a very experienced player, so far has emphasized defense is the name of the game. Ivanovsky just passing it to no man's land. Looks like that was a miscue.
Yeah, well, Belgira not yet established, not yet making the run deep into the left flank. And at some point, magbubukas ang depensa for Maharlika given this formation and given how Stallion is able to find the chinks in the armor.
Libre tried to play Michael Sims, pero offside daw ang tawag natin ngayon. First offside of the game.
Good effort from Libre. It's just that Sims was way ahead of the final defender. But expect that they will go to Sims. So talagang hahanapin rito. Endo Endure is on the bench.
And when you refer to the options, of course, of Maharlika, they do have their bench also. We'll get to that later on. Beaton got it in. Looks like John got a touch to it. John, a Filipino-American. He also has indoor football experience. That is where he previously played for the Tacoma Stars, as there was some lovely footwork. McDaniel. That was repelled initially by Ravanes. Libre getting it back. Trying to spark their offense that has mainly been running through the man from Tondo. And there we go again. Got his pocket picked. Noy Felonco. Charlie Beaton, a former Watford Academy player. Got a touch to cut it back, but clearly not enough power. Walang tawag din dun. Referee says it is good.
Na-physical siya doon ni Jello Factorana. We'll know Jello is not the tallest player but packs a lot of heft. Shoulder to shoulder ang ginamit doon ni Jello.
Siyempre may kaunting gulang din.
Absolutely.
Ball forward for Nomura. John getting it again. Schaeffner, Ivanovsky, the Argentinian, with experience again in the Americas. Belgira. Binalik. The long ball forward. As this one is slightly overcooked. That was courtesy of Schaeffner.
Well, without David Basa, pansin naman natin the backline for Maharlika. Mas maliit right now. And so Stallion, they're trying to go with higher balls. Perhaps connect with a header here and there. If they go to the ground, I think owing to the lower center of gravity by the Maharlika players, medyo mahihirapan sila doon. So just variety here for Stallion. He's gonna get the job done somehow.
But so far, throughout the course of this tournament, Tyler John has shown us that he is a tough man to beat. He picks up clean sheets for them as Pepito is off to a wild chase. Sims close to beating him. Pepito takes a fall. Looks like there's a call in his favor, but
There is.
that sure was a scary moment. Scary for Stallion, close to conceding. Maharlika close to scoring.
Natisod ng konti doon si Pepito, losing the at least 2 meters gap that he had with Sims. Fortunately, he was salvaged by a call. I think Sims medyo nanggigil din seeing that the ball was right there inside.
Now Stallion trying to answer back. Maharlika asking for offside pero wala. Yuta, McDaniel sa gitna. Beaton. Beaton pa rin. Takes it with his left and it is shy off the far post.
Once he was open, he just took that, Charlie Beaton. Good 1-2 initially. This was the second ball. Hindi lang naibilog ng bahagya. But still, I think it's a corner.
That's correct. Ivanovsky with number 3 of the game. To sent out. Taken by Belgira. Pero wala. Clearly not framed when you refer to his shot attempt.
But
Here's
for
the action.
Stallion, but for Stallion, you like that they have more shots already. 7-zip for the Horsemen. And the way this match has unfolded so far, again, possession being dominated by Stallion, 16 minutes in. So let's welcome our viewers. This is the quarterfinals. Do you expect it to be this tight?
So there was Bozawi who was decked, the man from Morocco, telling the referee that there was an elbow. And here's another look at what happened. And that was a foul courtesy of Noy Felonco again. And when we look at the goal scorers for this team, si Ibrahima Endur ay ang kanilang leading scorer para sa Maharlika Manila FC. And again, he is on the bench, as you said, as Pepito gets this one.
He hasn't been involved in the play that much. He's not been made to work yet. No legitimate shot for Maharlika. Tingnan natin kung magbago towards the latter parts of this first leg. You mentioned it's a two-legged quarterfinal, Claro. So I believe for Maharlika, it's the long view for them. Medyo tinitipid rin nila yung resources na meron sila. Perhaps steal one here. And then who knows, for that second 90 minutes, it's all out.
Definitely all to play for. Teams would like to start off strong and take an advantage heading into the second game. So the goals scored are aggregated or totaled. Whoever scores the most goals, simple as this, after 2 games will advance to the semifinals. At ganun din ang ating semifinals, 2 games or 2 legs.
Exactly, and dyan talaga masusubukan yung composure ng ating clubs habang papalapit ng papalapit sa final.
Yuta Nomura, their Japanese attacker. And it hit the side netting. Goal kick na ang tawag dun.
Masyado ng malalim para kay Nomura that time around. Again, just good presence here by Factoranan. Difficult angle. There was support but not enough to cut it back.
But so far, so good again. If you are the defense of Maharlika. And another close one, we could say. Michael Sims eking into this game. And you mentioned that Pepito is the less busy of the two keepers. Save for that scuffle. Medyo stress pa ako dun sa nangyari kanina.
Well, Abe Placito, for sure, hindi nga hayaang mangyari yan for their side as, yep, that is an obvious handball call.
And that will be a free kick right here for Stallion, the team in pink.
See that once again from Bonanken, and then absolutely the forearm.
But they take it short and carry on their clockwork passing. Maharlika will look to pounce on the counter. They have been looking quite dangerous also in this game. Filonco kay Beaton. Beaton will look to use his speed and trickery. Gets it, pero offside daw ang tawag dito.
Flag was up there for Stallion.
And there was the Maharlika defense in sync, making sure that they were all cohesive as a unit. If one player just dropped down, of course, that could have resulted into playing Beaton onside. But definitely not the case.
Shows you the good communication between, again, the four players at the back for Maharlika. And for Stallion, it's really just a matter of timing. Ka talaga pwedeng umabante sa last line.
So that Bozawi ball was intercepted by Placito. Binalik ni Beaton dito. Pride kay Schaeffner. Nomura. Nomura pa rin. Takes it, trying to go finesse, and it is picked up by Suzuki once more. Stable goalkeeping from him.
Lots of distance there from Nomura. I don't think that will really merit a challenge from Suzuki, although that was on target. Good vision here from Suzuki, who has a lot of length and height as well.
Of course, defense making it work. Nomura did have a difficult time launching that shot. And that was a call against Michael Sims. So right to left traffic once more. And don't you forget, we do have our quarterfinal 3 and quarterfinal 4 at the same venue. Do follow the social media accounts of the Philippines Football League as this is punched away by Suzuki. Libre contra Schaeffner. And what a show these two have been putting up. Schaeffner, the Filipino from the San Francisco area. Si Libre naman, taga Tondo, Manila, as you said again.
About 12,000 miles separating those two. Now, on the same field, yun ang kagandahan sa ating laro. The game has really gone global here.
Schaeffner. Belgira. He was troubled. Novanes sure did a good job to lock him down. Hence, Stallion have to relatively reset. Trying to play this over the top. McDaniel couldn't get it. Marked well again by the defense. 22 minutes already into this match. Stallion Laguna in their pink and white uniforms. Ang Maharlika Manila FC ay naka-itim o black. This is Claro Manzano on call for this match alongside Levi Verora. 25% done and dusted with this match. And what's your take so far?
I think ang kagandahan dito with Schaeffner is that Stallion can operate from the middle. They don't just go to the side, so there's more variety.
Chance now, they cut it back. Utah! Denied by Lawrence Baguio. So far, so good for them.
Just the deflection there provided by Baguio to alter that shot at the last moment. And then Suzuki does the rest. But like what I said, from the side, from the middle, Stallion winning meters, advancing forward from different angles. And that's what's difficult for Maharlika also, how to stop that. In contrast sila naman, we saw from the fullbacks, pupunta sila papunta dun sa kanilang forwards. Usually Sims is the target man. It's been quite that kind of a direct play, not much variety offensively. And yun ang contrasting styles na nakikita natin so far with, we're halfway into the first half. Lots of more football action to be played out.
So let's see which style again will prevail. Stallion have been working down the left, the right, and the middle. And as you said, Maharlika working with those counterattacks.
And that one already offside, but of course you have to play through the whistle. Amon not giving up on the play. Bigla na lang nakita natin side by side na siya with McDaniel, but of course all for naught. Flag was up.
Tyler John took this. That ball went relatively far, considering it didn't take much air. Diagonal ball. Trying to storm in. Looks like that was taken, but blocked. It was courtesy of Warren Ravanes. Bonanken. Stallion will try to escape the danger area. Of course, Maharlika will try to pounce and keep it in that area. And here's John as a defender. May lisensya si John, syempre, umatake. Kahit nasa likod siya. Schaeffner. His diagonal ball on the other end is out, but the intention clearly good. Just a little fine-tuning.
Nobody home. Pero ito yung play kani-kanina lang. Ravanes, well, tight space that time around. 3 pink shirts surrounding him. Well, that will technically count as the first shot for Maharlika. And you mentioned Tyler John with the license. I think also credit to the indoor experience, the sevens experience. That's why he's very exceptional with the individual skill. But of course, you have to integrate that into the system of Coach David Basa to make it all work.
He did play in the soccer tournament. Parang yan yung 7-a-side World Cup, pwede natin sabihin, no? And we got to see Filipinos and Southeast Asians compete in that level. As Pepito got this and will reset for them.
I was about to say, no problem that time around for Jason Pepito.
Of course, we saw what happened earlier at alam naman natin ang work rate ni Michael Sims. But Pepito just being cool, calm, and collected. Now with an AFC Cup game under his belt. As that the same goes for a great number of the Stallion players. Maharlika trying to get out of the danger area, and as a result, they get that throw in their way.
And even though Stallion lost to Bali United, just the experience of playing in that level will do them good.
Ivanovsky sends this rocket in. What a finish from their midfielder. Sensational stuff. And they get themselves on the scoreboard.
That was the 13th shot for Stallion. So lucky number 13 for them. 7th on target. And I told you, Clara, just a matter of time really before things open up here. And nakita natin doon, he was unmarked. Had lots of space in front. Bugayong was supposed to mark him. Pero medyo nawala doon ang formation ng Maharlika. Moves to his right and knocks it home. A rocket of a shot here to open things up for Stallion.
Christian Ivanovsky scoring his second goal of the tournament. And let's see how Stallion will respond with momentum on their side. More importantly, let's see how Maharlika Manila will respond themselves to this situation.
And we have been saying this is at least a 180-minute quarter-final duel or pairing. So nakalamang na ang Stallion, but it's just really 1/4 of the job done.
And now with possession, And when we look at their results, Maharlika did finish with 2 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss sa ating group stage. Their loss was actually the most recent result, a 2-1 defeat to Cebu FC. It was MJ Libre who came away as the goal scorer.
Well, anytime you score or finish with that score line against the runners-up of the league, I think that's an encouraging result for them. Kalaban naman nila the second runners-up, the third placers of the league.
At wag natin kalimutan, syempre, AFC Cup representatives.
Exactly.
Ng Cebu FC.
Mhm.
So Maharlika have shown us what they could do. And this is just the first leg in their quarterfinal matchup. We will have a second leg later on. Both coaches will get that chance to study this game and see what they could do moving forward, as this corner was no good. Wazawi, the Moroccan, got it to MJ Libre, but it was no good. Nakuha ni Pride. Belgira sa kabila. Ivanovsky. John got his head to it, and it was sent upward at Nakai Suzuki. Of course, the likes of Maharlika would like to make up for that goal conceded, and it is a relatively young match.
Lots of football to be played here. It's just the half-hour mark. 1 more hour of football to go. But they have to start mixing things up. They like going to the sides. Itong Maharlika, I think with MJ in the middle, you try to play him as your distributor. But again, it's just the short passing here for Maharlika. That's what's been lacking so far. Nahihirapan sila to build whenever they have the ball.
But here's a chance. Belgira. This ball took some altitude. Pumiping-pong ang bola. A man down. But here's Libre, who was trying to use his trickery. It is Bozawi who is down. Noy Filonco kay Belgira. And play is finally stopped. And we hope that this is not as bad as it looks. But I believe Bozawi just got clipped. But you do not want to lose a man like him. And what you gotta love about Bozawi is that when you put him in the midfield, you can shift John to the defense. And that's something we have seen.
I think Bozawi's taking offense. Dito kay Shermar Filonco, perhaps Filonco the man responsible for contact.
Galit na galit siya dun.
Cooler heads have prevailed since, thankfully. Kanina, Kaya and UP was also a hotly contested match. So a couple of reds being raced by our officials.
Intensity clearly going up dahil nasa knockout stages na tayo.
And just to give our fans an update, that was a 3-0 victory, of course, for Kaya. Nakauna na in that two-legged quarterfinal. Harvey Gayosa had the brace in that one.
And as a result of that, Harvey Gayoso is now in joint third in the Golden Boot race. And we'll break that down later on. And they play it back. Ivanovsky. Playing Beaton. Flag stays down. Beaton. Nomura on the rebound. And looks like that's good. Stallion Laguna FC double their lead. And thanks to that goal, Nomura is now the team's leading scorer with 7 to his name in this campaign.
You can argue that's the perfect sequence right there for Stallion. Just total team effort. Nagsimula dun sa through ball, and then you had Beaton forcing Suzuki to commit. Rebound for Nomura. No resistance there, no more keeper to beat. See, another look at that. Wala na, nag-commit na si Suzuki doon. And an relatively easier shot to make for Nomura.
2-0 in a span of 33 minutes, and Stallion FC continuing to ride that wave. Maharlika with this hole that they will have to work themselves out of.
And this is where it gets tough for Maharlika because you see yourselves down 2 goals. The morale might get a little lower than expected, but again, you have to play this match for the full 90.
It ain't over till it's over, as they say, as this chance is no good for Laguna. Suzuki will try to kickstart this spell for them. John kay Baguio. They got it to Bozawi. Long ball mula kay Factoranan. Maharlika trying to use the space. There was Pride who was initially beaten. Beaten just hustling to win possession. And they'll try to unleash themselves in transition. Belgira kay McDaniel. Huichi ulit, the former youth international of the Philippines. And there was John, who was decked, emerging as the victor in this one.
Well, that wasn't side to side, obviously. A little extension from Ivanovsky, one of the goal scorers for this night for Stallion.
So in the group stage, Stallion have scored 28 goals while Maharlika have picked up 5. You do have to note that Stallion played 5 games as opposed to the 4 of Maharlika, as there is a foul and Carl Bugayong with a free kick for them. It will be in the middle of the park.
But that's still a remarkable work rate for Stallion, scoring about 3, 4, 5 goals per match. Well, now the middle has opened up for Maharlika. Chance for them.
Placito initially got to it. Now in the middle, Factoranan will try to spread out the Stallion defense. Looks like Nomura got a piece of it. Nomura. Maharlika were asking for an offside. John gets it again.
Great effort by John. Could have easily been 3-0.
Felonco off the woodwork, but it's picked up by the defense. Baguio there again. Baguio and John have been working double time in this game for the squad of Coach Dave Basa. And here's the ball forward now from Bugayong. Things getting scrappy in the middle. Bozawi getting whistled this time around against Noy Felonco. Baliktad naman ang nangyari.
As we mentioned, 4-1-4-1 ang Maharlika. It's always a direct play for Sims. Not much variety for the koponan ng Masa.
Maharlika opting for the defensive route with the 4-1-4-1 formation. Of course, yung delikado rito, pwede rin gamitin ng 4-1-4-1 sa pag-atake. And it could sure be a treat to watch them in full force when they go on the counter. But let's see how they'll grow into this game. It has been mainly Stallion in this one. And the call again. Things just going their way when we refer to Stallion Laguna.
I think a great job by Ivanovsky to sell that call. Ravanes barely moving, although I think the momentum going to his right. Based on our understanding, of course, it's a defensive scheme here for Maharlika. That's why they're going 4-1-4-1.
As Beaton tries to get through, ran out of space, cleared off by the Maharlika defense. Schaefer got to thread the needle. Shot on target by McDaniel, but Suzuki with great positioning. From the get-go, this one up for grabs. Great work from Ivanovsky to get it to Belgira. And it is a corner kick. Came off of Ravanes. So a handful of corner kicks already in this game for Stallion, but their goals coming from open play. Ivanovsky to take this. He has been changing up the attack for Laguna. Looks like John got his head to it. Put in by Beaton. A push. And it looks like that's a penalty. Nomura was decked by John from the looks of it. And referee Chris Mark Nanyola says that will be a penalty. We can do some lip reading from John. Clearly not a happy man.
Well, from our vantage point, as that play developed in real time, it's an obvious shove right there from Tyler John sa tagiliran nito ni Nomura.
So the outstretched arm, the penalty already called. The likes of Bozawi trying to plead their case.
That's what's difficult about that, Claro, because he extended his arms. He would have passed off if his arms was just inside the imaginary cylinder of his body.
It potentially could have been some frustration also with the way this game has been going for them. But regardless, we still have the second leg for the quarterfinals. But at the moment, Stallion Laguna have a penalty with Christian Ivanovsky standing up to the plate. Yosuke Suzuki to beat. Drills this one in. Cool, calm, and collected. Christian Ivanovsky with a brace in the first half. And he now has 3 goals this campaign.
Great placement. Bottom left. Almost just inches away from the post. But slots that one home. And now it's 3-0. It really reflects the current scoreline. It's a reflection of how Stallion has dominated this affair, from possession to build-up plays and to the attempts that they get from their side of the field.
Maharlika Manila have been able to make that Stallion offense work. But right after getting those stops, it's the offense that has been relatively difficult here for the team in black.
And as you score 3 goals, the confidence just builds up even more. Stallion continues to press here in the first half.
Bozawi, not so sure about the intentions in that ball. It was off target. Sims was clearly away or a great distance from that ball. Nakuha na lang ni Pepito.
I think in local parlance, sinubukan niyang manggulat dito kay Pepito. He was, of course, not having any of that.
Naka-ready na si Jason Pepito. Nagulat na kanina.
Exactly.
Probing forward are the likes of Noy Felonco. And they'll try to kickstart their offense here. This one down the line. Placito just sends this ball out. One of their foreign players. An American with Mexican heritage.
And he was, of course, brought in right before the conclusion of the league, in time for the AFC Cup as well. Has played for Stallion back in 2021. Fortifying that defense for them. Also an offensive option for set pieces. He has that height. Kita naman natin on your screens.
Placito also the scorer of Stallion's second goal ever in AFC Cup history. The first being Junior Sam, who is on loan with Laguna for the AFC Cup. Sam, as we know, in the Copa is with Mindiola FC 1991. And you can catch them tomorrow. Again, they are squaring off with Cebu FC. As this ball rolls off, pabalik ang bola sa Maharlika. The other quarterfinal tomorrow is Club de Football Manila, squaring off with Davao Aguilas UMAC. Tuloy-tuloy ang action dito sa Rizal Memorial Stadium for your Copa Paulino Alcantara action.
What's great about those pairings is that, of course, Cebu and Mendiola, both member clubs, On the other hand, you have CF Manila and Davao UMAC. So yung dalawang mananalo from those respective series will move on to the semifinals.
The quarterfinals again will be played over 2 legs. We will be aggregating or totaling the scores of the 2 teams. And whoever emerges as the victor there will advance to the semifinals. Parehas ang ating format sa semifinals, Levi. Pero yung finals mismo ay winner take all. 1 game only. Schaeffner, what an outing he has had in the midfield as that orchestrator. Bugayong, the former UP Fighting Maroon, he did exhaust his final year of eligibility last UAAP. As there is a man down, John puts it out of play. Let's see Bozawi ulit. This time he is holding on to his right knee from the looks of it.
Well, we're not so sure what happened that time around. Pero coincidentally, si Felonco ulit yung malapit sa kanya. Would be interesting to see what developed this time.
Kita nga natin sa midfield kanina, nakamatch-up sila. Both players, of course, playing the central midfield role in their respective and contrasting styles. And what occurred here was away from the ball, but it is a tough sight to see as we have the stretcher being brought out right here for the Moroccan player.
Well, of course, the thigh, that's a vulnerable area. Malambot yan pag nabagsakan niya ng tuhod. As you see, of course, Bizawi reacting.
Possibly a pulled muscle or strained muscle. Nakita natin ang ating magic spray as fourth official KB Nanyola signaled earlier the half line that we have 2 minutes of additional time.
Not much stoppages here except this one and the one earlier. Perhaps a little more leeway for Chris Mark Nanyola, but I expect this to end after about 2 to 3 minutes. And again, just a 3-0 cushion already for Stallion in the first 45 of this match.
Christian Ivanovsky again gave us the opener, followed by the goal of Yuta Nomura. Ivanovsky doubled his tally this evening with a penalty. Unfortunately for Maharlika, Tyler John was whistled for a foul after he appeared to push a Stallion Laguna attacker. It was Nomura who won that penalty for them. So we are close to resuming action, and Maharlika will be down to 10 men temporarily. So they've been playing defensive football throughout, and it will have to be, or they will have to work double time because of this scenario. 11 versus 10. So this match underway, or this match resumed rather.
Maharlika down to 10 men. That means more opening for Stallion. Will look to sneak one more before the half ends.
Charlie Beaton just ran out of space in that adventure forward.
What's great about Beaton here is that Stallion's utilizing him as a winger. If I can recall correctly, sa Maharlika is being used minsan sa gitna, and same with, well, he had a short stint with Cebu. Didn't really see some actual playing time on the field. Just good to see him thrive with this new role with Stallion.
Confidence brewing, of course, with how he's been able to fit into the system of Coach Ernie Nieras. As McDaniel had the right intentions, chasing that ball that was already overplayed. My goal kick dito ulit para sa Maharlika. And we are approaching the 3rd minute already of added time. In fact, we did have a number of stoppages already. And we could see the last few kicks of the first half. Picked up by Schaeffner. Right at the heart of the field. Beaton, binilig dito. Placito. Pride. And there you go, the halftime whistle. Stallion Laguna FC 3, Maharlika Manila FC nil. Ivanovsky or Christian Ivanovsky with the brace and a goal also from Yuta Nomura. And what's your take so far, Levi?
Well, it's just total dominance here for Stallion. Could have easily added more to the total, but we saw offensively they were just spot on with their build-up plays. They were able to make it difficult for Maharlika in terms of just yung iba-ibang angulo kung saan nila inuumpisahan yung atake, minsan sa gitna, minsan from the opposite wings, and then of course from the set pieces, always a threat for Stallion. And Maharlika, it's going to be a tough mountain to climb here already. We're just getting started here.
So 15 minutes for both squads to rest and regroup before we head on to the final 45 minutes of the evening. But we'll be back after the break. But here's the highlights to keep you company. Currently at the halftime break in your Copa Paulino Alcantara action as we come to you from the Rizal Memorial Stadium. It is Stallion Laguna FC 3, Maharlika Manila FC 0. And you are catching this on the Facebook and YouTube pages ng Philippines Football League. And this is Claro Manzano on call for this match alongside Levi Verora. Halfway through the match, and what is your assessment so far?
Well, plain and simple, close to a perfect first half for Stallion Laguna. And that's really the difference between these two clubs so far. You see the difference on your screens, 3-0. Let's take a look at the stats. Sa possession pa lang, Stallion just making sure that they have the volume of the ball, the control of the ball, and it manifested doon sa kanilang shots. They had 17, 10 on target. Of course, they had one penalty also. And even the corners, the set pieces that they've earned. And again, we mentioned this before the break. It's going to be a tough mountain to climb for Maharlika. We've seen them get involved in close matches. Just the character for them. It's going to be one of those nights again for Maharlika.
A tough one today so far for Maharlika Manila FC. Stallion Laguna in just full throttle, and numbers don't lie. I think in this situation, it's been able to describe or show us the type of dominance that they have had in this match. But let's see how the likes of Coach Dave Basa and staff will respond when we refer to Maharlika, the team in black, as they are breaking out of their respective huddles at the moment. We spot one substitute so far in this match, and it is for Stallion. I believe we have a change also for Maharlika in Jaiser Pagulayan. And let's try to get further confirmation as we hear.
I believe 3 substitutions for Maharlika. So they're really going to switch things up.
And there we go. Christian Ivanovsky steps off along with Ken Pride, Charlie Beaton, and Juan Galeana, Menzi, and Ford check into this one. And to clarify, that is Michael Menzi. His brother, Audie, of course, is the man in Kaya. And another former Maharlika player who checked into the game, and Zachary Ford, of course.
Well, 2 former Maharlika players checking in. That's really just the familiarity now with this squad. So 3 subs each for Stallion and Maharlika. It looks like we have an early corner to start the second half.
The script carrying on from how we stopped in this first half. And there's a whistle, unsuccessful in the perspective of Stallion, but mission accomplished. Maharlika getting a stop. Now it's about getting that groove in transition after getting a stop, of course, and see how they could initially pull one back.
Well, they have Endo Endure now part of the 11. However, itong si Sims binaba na rin. Then you have Jaser Pagulayan also plays the forward. And then Raymond Gabriel Abo in the middle. So trying for more connection perhaps from the back to the middle and finally up front. It's going to be much easier said than done for Maharlika, and right on cue they waste away possession.
It's been a tough evening for Carl Bugayong. An unforced error, as we saw there. And he's had a difficult time also in the midfield for them. Factoranan. Of course, it's the unforced errors that can hurt you when we look at things in perspective. It can just gift a scoring opportunity to the opposing team.
Well, just one mistake can lead to a brilliant run for the opposite side. And speaking of which, here we go.
Galeana Trujillo storming through. Got it to the bottom corner, but just had to launch it out of desperation with the defense chasing him down. Suzuki with the volley going for Ibrahima Indoor. Very interesting again, Indoor, their leading scorer with 3 goals this campaign. Coming off the bench, not getting the usual nod.
Well, could be playing below 100% just based on the body language. Nakikita natin. We'll try to get more into that. Pero grabe din itong Stallion, no? Binaba mo si Beaton. Ang umakyat naman ay si Galiana Trujillo, fortifying that attack even more.
It's like for like changes for Laguna as they get this in, rolling relatively in front of goal mouth. And they try to chase it down. Maharlika just sending it to safety.
No connection, quite solid that time around. But again, you challenge Maharlika like that, they're made to work. There's going to be some lapses here and there in marking people, and then things just open inside the box.
And that's how Laguna have been able to get into the driver's seat in this game. They lob this to McDaniel. McDaniel got to beat 1. Pero may pito tayo. That was a call going in favor of Maharlika. Potentially a handball. Schaffner. And the debate ends as we got to meet his father, Tito Ron, and his brother, Lucas, who are here.
Right.
They flew in from the United States to watch Christian play. Christian Schaffner extra inspired. And here's a chance from Ibrahima Indoor. Took a fall. That one not enough to convince the referee or get a penalty. Tough break for Maharlika. So close yet so far.
Well, back-to-back instances doon. First was Menzi, taken down legally, but Endure, I think, suffered the same case and was not able to capitalize in spite of the meters won for Maharlika.
So Ford was dispossessed and it results to this. Pero offside naman ang tawag dito. You could say, hey, it's tough breaks for Maharlika, but at least you could say they're getting forward when we talk about bright spots.
Well, this was the play that just developed moments ago. You also have, of course, Abe Placito. Naunahan lang ni Endure, but I like the intention there. Again, they're going direct, trying to go over the lines. They're not going to the middle that much except for Libre. At least from what we have seen so far, 50 minutes in.
So mind you again, this is the first of 2 legs in our quarter finals. Teams will get to play each other twice. Their score will be totaled or aggregated. Simple as this, whoever scores the more goals will advance to the semis as Galiana Trujillo got it. Offside naman dito sa kabila.
So it's just end-to-end action now. Things are starting to open up, of course. Well, that middle part of the field, you'll notice there's really just enormous space that time. Both teams not really playing that tight. There's pressure from Stallion, definitely, forcing Maharlika to play the sides.
McDaniel tried to flick it back. Bozawi got it. John over to the further end. I believe this is Hamon getting forward. Libre. And looks like they've had his number in this game. Laguna have been able to limit MJ Libre.
And you saw how difficult that was for Maharlika to advance from final third to the middle, only to lose it once again. Mapapansin natin to the viewers out there, the pink shirts really just going high right now, putting the pressure on for Maharlika.
Confidence for Laguna. They may have lost 5-2 to Bali United. But again, those 2 goals, a great booster as they set up Galiana Trujillo. Schaffner tried to get it to the left. Koichi. Well, there was a gutsy slide from John. He didn't get the ball, but did enough to change it up, and it will go back to the team in black.
Yep, no contact that time for Tyler John. Just getting into the picture, and sometimes that's enough. That stops the possession for Stallion for now. But again, the challenge here for Maharlika is to build something out of this. It's been all Stallion so far, 3-0.
The chance now, working through. This is sent out for a throw-in.
Good deflection by John once again.
Zachary Ford getting denied. So again, one of the many Maharlika players. There's Zachary Ford. We also have the likes of Schaffner, Charlie Beaton, to name a few. But when we also talk about the composition of the Maharlika FC squad, they do have a great number of former UP Fighting Maroons. And doon si Jello Factoranan, Michael Sims, to name a pair.
There's been that connection.
There's Carl Bugayong also.
Right.
And there's a clear shove. Kita natin mula kay Zachary Ford. And looks like there was some second motion as we saw from Christian Hamon.
Didn't appreciate it. Well, this was the first contact. Zachary Ford. Nag-abot sa Maharlika itong dalawang to. But of course, Hamon saying that, what was that for? And looks like the first yellow for this match.
Right before the motion from Ford, there was the forearm we could see from Christian Hamon. So, you did say, teammates nga sila last PFL season. Friendship over muna sa 45, sa 90 minutes. Tapos okay sila after.
And past is past, of course. They were teammates before, but on the opposite sides of the field right now.
And there's a chance now they'll try to work their way up. Placito. Libre. Got this over to Geyser. Factoranan. Some promise from this spell so far from Maharlika. If they could just keep pushing inch by inch, who knows if they could initially pull back a goal. And they can work their way forward. First things first, of course. You score one goal, you get things swinging in your side. Schaffner was just trying to storm through, but he was met by Tyler John. John from the United States, a man also with Filipino roots. He is listed as a foreigner though in the team sheet, perhaps as he has yet to possibly get a Filipino passport. But normally that is the case. McDaniel, Felonco, Juan Galeana. There's McDaniel working to the other way, lobbing it. Felonco. Looks like it's still in though. And that shot clearly blocked by Hamon. Taken, but this one is no good. Unable to find the bottom corner.
Well, it just took a lot of time for Stallion to execute on that play and decide right away. And nakita na naman natin 6 black shirts inside the area for Maharlika. Not really surrendering an inch there. However, looks like Suzuki got a piece. It's going to be another corner for Stallion.
Galeana Trujillo will be making the service. The man from Mexico. So this ball up for grabs now. Felonco will lob it. Picked up well by Suzuki. Giving it to Libre. Libre with some opposition, but he has his teammates to back him up with the likes of Pagulayan, Belgira, Ford. Poked away by Hamon.
I think we saw from the last few minutes for Maharlika, they're really trying their best to connect with short passes, but Stallion just unwilling to give space.
Nomura back to Belgira. Belgira also with Japanese heritage, although he is Filipino. His ping pongs around. John didn't get a great touch to it. And that has been the story of this game in a nutshell for them, sadly.
Yan yung tinatawag natin sa Pilipino, klaro, mali yung pectus ng bola. I believe it's the outer part or side of the boot that made a touch for that. That's why it spinned to the right instead of the other way around. Libreng corner for Stallion, to say the least.
Nung nakuha ni John, kita na natin medyo inis siya sa kanyang sipa as this is taken and no good courtesy of Mike Menzi.
Who is, of course, another former Maharlika player. Has the height and a good solid build as well sa kanyang katawan. Just giving an extra edge doon sa backline nila. But then again, for set pieces like that, has that height. Napapakinabangan. Looks like we have another change waiting to be made for Stallion.
And it is Nathan Rilloraza who will come in, and stepping off is Yuta Nomura. Nomura will end this shift after roughly 1 hour of action and 1 goal to show. Interesting change as Rilloraza, often a center mid, madalas ginagamit siya sa gitna. Nomura, on the other hand, a striker.
Well, I think for Stallion, they just want the safety pagdating dun sa gitna. They have enough wingers and forwards already to create. But then when you have someone like Rilloraza, who you mentioned, plays in the central midfield, perhaps can also attack if the chance is there. It's just all about safety for Stallion. A comfortable, commanding 3-0 lead already.
So they try to get this one forward. Keeper off his line, Ford charging. And Suzuki gets the job done, having to act as a defender in that situation as he was out of the goalkeeper box.
Good decision on the part of Suzuki. I like that. Just shadowing that ball, knowing that the intended winger will not really get there on time.
And an hour into this game already, for those who just tuned in, Laguna lead 3-0 behind the brace of Ivanovsky and the goal from Nomura. Both players have been subbed off already. Coach Ernie Nieras and staff have opted to rotate their players. They do have their upcoming AFC Cup match that will be in Australia, as there is a man down. A yellow card here dito kay Raymond Abo.
That was a strong challenge, to say the least. We'll see that once again from the blind side. Itong si Abo, and that takes down from the Stallion players. I think you saw immediately the switch. Now Galiana Trujillo and Rilloraza can both facilitate from the midfield.
Rilloraza, that man off and in the middle. Galiana Trujillo plays on the wing. Often creator and has a handful of assists in this Copas. McDaniel sends this. Suzuki. Trujillo sends it to the keeper though. Trying to take advantage of the loose handles of Yosuke Suzuki, the Filipino-Japanese keeper. The man again who pursued his studies in Brent and the University of the Philippines. Bonanken. So the same flow in this game. It is Stallion Laguna pressing on. And there's this ball that was relatively loose. And don't you forget, I believe it is tomorrow, we do have the Filipinas squaring off in the quarterfinals versus Japan in the Asian Games. And that is history for the Philippines already in making the knockout stages in the aforementioned tournament.
Not going to be an easy task at all, claro. That's Japan right there. Although it is the B team, so you might say, okay, there is a chance. Tingnan natin, of course, the Filipinas, formidable roster being brought to the Asian Games in China.
Of course, Japan is Japan, regardless with their strong footballing talent pool and culture. As John is trying to navigate traffic here with the likes of Bogayong. Again, we are saying it has been a difficult game in a nutshell, but plenty of time. 30 minutes for them to get at least one goal. And we'll see from there. This is just the first leg out of the two. As John again makes an interception. Despite of it being a tough day, pwede nga natin sabihin, John has given his all for Maharlika in this match.
Absolutely, and it's really just, he's not playing alone. It's 11 on the field. Yun ang problema dyan. Even if one player is playing exceptionally well, it's really just the entire squad moving in one cohesive motion.
The combinations pave way to this. The header from Juanito. The follow-up of the woodwork eventually in. It looks like that is good. And it is for Zachary Ford. Hard work paying off. Another team effort for Laguna.
Unbelievable sequence that time around. But again, it starts with that through ball from the middle. This was the initial attempt. On the second ball, it just bounces under the crossbar and in. Tough angle for Suzuki to try and defend that one. But look at Ford right here, unmarked. And too late for the recovery of Bugayong.
Off the woodwork and in, and our records tell us this is the first goal of Zachary Ford as a player of Stallion Laguna FC. As we have a change, Bozawi the Moroccan checking out and Boris Mudang steps in. Boris Mudang, the man from Cameroon. He'll be tasked with changing this up along with Ibrahima Endur, we can say, who entered the game at halftime. Endur again, their leading scorer with 3 goals this campaign.
So that import connection for Maharlika. Mudang plays in the middle, Endur forward.
They try to cut it back. Safety first, says Mike Menzi. John will try to spark this again. And here is a whistle favoring Maharlika. We did see some excessive contact earlier. Ayan.
Side to side, but it hit the hip. 66 minutes into this contest. It's now 4-0 for Stallion.
And Maharlika also have been getting a number of free kicks in this game, with chances to get forward. Now it's about making them count, and they are given another one. And when we look through their statistics, joining Ibrahima Endur as their goal scorers this season are Tyler John and MJ Libre. So all players, or those 3, still on the pitch, as Jason Pepito is up to the task.
That was Gel, of course. He's known to be accurate with his distribution. That time, a placement. But Jason Pepito, parte pala siya ng larong to because, again, it's just all a one-sided affair, quite literally.
Less busy of the 2 keepers, as we said earlier. Libre playing it through to Ibrahima Endur. Looks like he got clipped, but Pepito eventually picked this one up.
Had a great intention that time around, a little 1-2, a quick play. But Endur will not get to that ball in time. Masyadong malakas yung first touch nitong ni Michael Libre.
This eventually denied. Mudang. Menzi sent it back to Factoranan. Factoranan, one of the mainstays, playing the fullback for Maharlika. throughout the coaching changes that they have had in their history, he has gotten that nod almost day in and day out, playing fullback. Relio Raza. Ford. Noyfelonco just did enough to keep it going their way. And we have a substitution right here. And it is their captain, Balot Doctora, coming on.
It's the veteran.
Doctora with that birthday goal for Coach Ernie Nieras in that 9-1 win of theirs over the Adamson University Soaring Falcons.
Substitution for Stallion and Maharlika.
And Coach Ernie Nieras did say to Balot, he make sure to get that birthday goal. And that was last game, of course. But for the moment, Laguna will be down to 10 men. Ford is currently on the side with his ankle that is bothering him from the looks of it.
Zachary Ford also gave Maharlika one of their few wins last league against Mendiola. That was a 1-0 result in Imus, if I recall correctly. Nevin Reyes called that match. Hello to you, Nevin.
That sure was a nail-biting affair between the two teams. Maharlika and Mendiola, rivals of course. Balot, instant impact. But just gave it away. Libre. Will he work his magic? Pagulayan to the middle. Great use of space. Binigay kay Bugayong. Over wide to the further end. The early cross. But unable to control it. Goal kick dito para sa Laguna.
Too much mustard on that one.
So just to recap, dito po sa ating goal scorers, nakadalawang goal si Christian Ivanovsky. Umiscore din sila Yuta Nomura at Zachary Ford. One goal to show in this second half. Laguna padding their 3-0 lead from halftime. Alongside Levi Verora, this is Claro Manzano on call for this match. This is your Copa Paulino Alcantara action. It is the quarterfinals already, which will be played over 2 legs. The goals, of course, from the competing teams will be aggregated or totaled. The team, of course, with the superior goal scored over 2 matches will advance to the semifinals, which will be played through the same format, as there is an unfortunate offside call if you are Maharlika Manila FC. Tough break here, of course. Tough break here for them, as we have seen.
Well, clearly offside. Si Endur, I think he was the one called. And about 18 more minutes remaining in this one. And again, this is just the first leg. You play 180 minutes, perhaps even more. It's going to be a tough challenge here for Maharlika as we see Stallion earning another corner. It's going to be tough in a sense that, well, you have to overcome this lead. You haven't scored in 70-plus minutes here. So what more scoring 4 or 5 for the next leg?
And from the looks of it now, Maharlika with an uphill task as Galiana Trujillo whips this in. Indoor secures it. And the attack delayed by Menzi. Huwag mo natin kalimutan, may quarterfinals din po tayo bukas. May Cebu FC versus Mindiola FC. Pagkatapos, may Club de Football Manila versus Davao Aguilas UMAC. And you can catch the games live right here dito po sa Rizal Memorial Stadium o sa Facebook and YouTube pages ng Philippines Football League. Paki-like, share at subscribe. Nasa Instagram, TikTok at Twitter din po tayo. Paki-follow na lang po. Rilio Raza sends this one out wide. Galiana Trujillo still keeping it in. McDaniel couldn't get it on target. There was Libre to chase. Schaffner. Ford trying to drill it in. On this one, no good, off target.
Oh, from distance, Zachary Ford. But again, Stallion just adding on to their total number of shots here. It's really just representative of what kind of match they have been playing. With about 16 more minutes to go. And that also kind of sums up what kind of game Maharlika has been playing. Just difficult execution against Stallion, which has been, like what I mentioned, close to perfect in this affair.
MJ Libre close but not quite to playing Jaiser Pagulayan. And gives it away, unfortunately. It was looking promising initially for them.
It's been that kind of a night for them. Looking for the direct play, going over the lines. Dahil nahihirapan sila mag-build up from the middle. Outside of MJ Libre. And also credit to Stallion, just all sorts of pressure and being tight doon sa gitna.
Placito contra Libre. Who will prevail? MJ Libre was trying to round him.
You see the size disparity between Libre and Placito, and Placito that time just taking advantage of his size. Not making a play on the ball, but letting it go out. Napahinga mo pa yung mga kakampi mo inside the field.
Libre was looking to use his speed, agility, and footwork in that occasion. Menzi. Galiana Trujillo. Switching it up to Zachary Ford. But there was the Maharlika backline to change it up. Balot. Balot pa rin. Just taking their sweet time given the scoreline.
They have the luxury to really be patient right now.
And what Coach Ernie Nieras was mentioning, they were going to go all out here, even if they have their upcoming AFC Cup game. And then they'll just adjust on the fly or see how it goes for the second leg, where we'll have Stallion and Maharlika square off again.
Well, you want to maintain that form if you're a Stallion. You played in the AFC Cup. You lost to Bali United. Wasn't the result you wanted. Could have been more competitive in that match. So we see a couple of subs here. Looks like Nakamura, Rio Nakamura, and Jordan Jarvis completing the final two substitutions here for Stallion.
Stepping off are Finn McDaniel and Christian Schaffner. And it has been a masterclass for the two in their 76-minute shift. And if you are Stallion, you would like to at least nurse this scoreline that you have again. But better safe than sorry. They want to make sure they have this lead in the second leg, where they will square off again. But this one up for grabs. Keeper got the save initially. Sent, but denied by Suzuki.
Another difficult stretch there for Suzuki. A good thing for him, just closing the gap to make sure the angle is tough for the striker.
And looks like Menzi took a fall, trying to slide for that. Sending it to the goalkeeper box. Placito.
Good approach by Placito. And again, just they're milking the clock a little bit here. They know they have the lead. It's halfway done. You have two legs. At the same time, you want to maintain playing at a high level because you have the AFC Cup as among your other priorities in this very busy stretch of football throughout the Burr months, the holiday season. And that's what you like about Stallion.
replaced by player
So
number
we have Tyler John
27,
stepping
Joe
off
Louis
for Louis
Brillantes.
Brillantes. And of course, you want to save one of your main cogs for the second leg. There may be that uphill score line, but it ain't over till it's over. Yan ang sinasabi natin madalas.
And that's why for the remainder of this match, the immediate mission for Maharlika is to try and steal one back and close this gap to 3 goals. A bit more doable, a bit more manageable for them for the next leg.
Of course, well, at the least, if teams see themselves going down, they'll go down fighting. But again, this is not an elimination game in the quarterfinals. Menzi. And when we look at our statistics, we see the Golden Boot race. Abusi is the leader with 8 goals. And behind him, thanks to his goal this evening, is Yuta Nomura with 7 to his name. So that aspect in this whole tournament heating up too. And we have a great number of players just lurking behind in the 3rd and 4th spot as they cut this one back. Balot makes it 2 goals in 2 games. And that is 5-0. Icing on the cake. And Stallion Laguna just trotting with confidence. Balot Doctora getting his groove back after getting or suffering an injury before the Copa.
Just patient execution here for Stallion. And it was a 1-2 initially. Binalik kay Balot. Excellent control with the first touch. And then the second touch was a volley. Choosing the far post. It's in for Doctora. Again, the veteran. 80 minutes in. You said it, Claro. Icing on the cake.
10 minutes to play here. And one thing, Levi, as we could assess, do you think Maharlika will be going for damage control with the time on the clock? Or will they just continue to throw everything at it? As there is a chance, Ford past the keeper initially. Galiana Trujillo couldn't get it. Cuts it back. Relio Raza tried to get into the mix.
Well, I think from the position they have on the field right now, I've noticed that Maharlika, they've really dropped back a lot. So it's more of a defensive approach here. They're really just trying to make sure this doesn't add up to the total of Stallion.
Menzi. Galiana Trujillo with experience from the 3rd tier in Mexico. Taken by Relio Raza, but sails over the bar. Trying to join the scoring party.
Well, a lot of elevation on that shot. Pero nakikita natin, again, Maharlika, they're not marking their men anymore as with more energy as you expect them to be. And again, Maharlika, they're not in any way trying to think of their offense at the moment. It's really just dropping now and making sure this does not become 6 or 7 goals.
Balot was denied by Baguio, and here comes Libre. Now over to Pagulayan, but it was lost. Jarvis. Balot kay Juanito. Juanito versus Jello Factoranan. Sent it to the middle. Nakamura, one of their Asian players here. Relio Raza kay Bonanken. And yes, we see the scoreline, but all is not lost again because we still have leg number 2 in the quarterfinals. They try to lob it. Bonanken using his height. He was asking for it from Balot. Balot binigay kay Relio Raza. Galiana Trujillo sent it to the middle. This one eventually rolls out. And Sampaga was able to do enough there to deny Zachary Ford.
But if you're Stallion, mapapansin mo, they're just trying to be creative doon sa kanilang execution on their half of the field. They can afford to do so. They're up by 5, and the field has just opened for them. Not much resistance from Maharlika as well, as far as the back line and the midfielders are concerned. It's been that kind of a tough match for them this evening. It's going to be a Stallion here, of course, impending victory, at least for the first leg.
Those lovely combinations, but Balot is flagged offside. The positioning there is what got him caught.
Just slightly offside for Doctora, but of course from the vantage point by one of our assistant referees. Of course, we have Kim Zora Nabuel and Aldous Mirafuentes II. It was an easy call to make.
So, Stallion Laguna are in their pink and white uniforms. Maharlika Manila FC ay nakaitim o black. And this is Claro Manzano on call for this match alongside Levi Verora. And we are glad to have you with us for this Friday night of Copa Paulino Alcantara action. Right here, dito po sa ating Facebook at YouTube pages. Paki-like, share, at subscribe. Bonanken, you seem to be a little confused at the moment, Levi.
Well, at this point, at this stage, Stallions really just trying to be more patient with a 5-0 cushion here. Trying to experiment, you can say. And that one goes wide. But yes, there's nothing to lose here for Stallion.
That was taken by Bonanken, but no good.
Well, the farther you are, unless you're a Leo Messi, it's very difficult to really make that shot on target.
But you never try, you never know, as they say. And Bonanken, that man who took the last shot, by coincidence, was actually youth teammates with Chandler McDaniel in the formative days that they were playing football, or soccer as it is called in the United States, where they grew up.
And of course, in the youth level, mapababae o lalaki ka, magkakampi kayo. You're just enjoying the game. You don't really think about winning. It's all about player development, developing the skills, the dribbling, the striking, as that one sent to the skies.
That was courtesy of Raymond Abo, the assist leader of Maharlika in this tournament with due to his name. But unfortunately, he has not been able to add to his tally this evening. But let's see, of course, moving forward, how Coach David Basa and staff will be able to adjust for the second matchup, as Nakamura was beaten from behind. There was no call on the fall of Nakamura. This one, of course, for a separate incident.
Well, it's going to be an interesting talk here for Maharlika. This is the most lopsided match they've played. That's, again, testament to how far they've improved. In Group B, just 2 wins, 1 draw, and a loss. That loss was just 1 goal of a separation against Cebu. So this is technically new territory for them, at least starting in the middle part of 2023.
Of course, as they have this new look squad in the Copa Paulino Alcantara as compared to the recent Philippines Football League season.
Really looking formidable. And looks like we have a substitution here.
That is correct. It is Mauro Acot who is checking in, and stepping off and calling it an evening is MJ Libre, or MJ Canicosa, as he also carries his mother's name.
You have to give it to MJ Libre. Just lots of activity in the middle, but wasn't enough, of course, to single-handedly create something for Maharlika.
So they'll try to escape danger. The man who checked in For Maharlika again is Mauro Akot. And he was instrumental in that last game of Maharlika versus Stallion, as Balot could not reach that. And that game, last game we were referring to was in the Philippines Football League. That classic you mentioned, wherein Stallion won 1-0 in what is an absolute nail-biter. Toto Bedia of Stallion just found the back of the net literally at the death in that game.
That was an absolute heartbreaker as well for Maharlika. Just playing well for 92, 93 minutes, then just surrendering 3 points in the end.
Heartbreaker also as they were playing in their home, the McKinley Hill Stadium, where their community is based. But there is this chance to bounce back in the quarterfinals. The scoreline, of course, not what they want. But they have the second leg. If you are Stallion Laguna again, you want to keep building on that confidence and surfing that wave continuously.
And that's why you see Stallion, they're still playing as if it's the first minute. That intensity has not dropped one bit. That's a testament to the level they're playing at.
Check na natin mga shoutouts. Unang-una, yung mga bouncers daw natin. Nagpa-request si Kuya Toto at si Kuya Al. Shoutout sa'yo. Shoutout kay Paulo Gaudite and Pat Mendoza.
Oh, Pat is watching.
At yung maganda rito, we have supporters from the two teams in the comments. Cheering on Stallion FC and Maharlika Manila.
Always a good sight to see yung comment section ng ating live stream feeds. Sometimes you'll never know. There might be one person there or two who's gonna say something about us, claro. We would like to remind you, we keep an eye on the comments, ladies and gentlemen.
That is true. And guess who's watching also? Ang suki natin, si Nano Amita.
Whenever he's not playing, he's scouting. What a guy.
We also see Toto Bedia, the man who found the back of the net for Stallion last game. Toto Bedia is with them in this tournament and in the AFC Cup, but he is listed as not playing dito ngayong gabi. So we saw 2 minutes of additional time as confirmed. And teams will just try to play this one out. And it is impending that Laguna will take the victory. Ivanovsky with 2 goals, while Nomura, Ford, and Balot Doctora added 1 goal each to give us our tally of 5.
Looks like another foul from Maharlika. And really just perhaps one final sequence here for either side. And before we conclude this coverage, well, this was something I was supposed to say during the PFF Women's League semifinal. But yeah, our thoughts and prayers go out to Pau San Buenaventura, who of course plays for the Manila Digger women's team. We know how strong a person she is, and her Manila Digger family loves her. Her Sevens family loves her. As this one goes above and out.
And prayers up, of course. And here was the recent attempt. And with this result, Laguna will take a massive cushion heading into the second leg of the quarterfinals. Pero wag nyo kalimutan, may quarterfinals pa tayo bukas. May Cebu FC and Medjola, while we have Club de Football Manila and Davao Aguilas UMAC squaring off. At ayan na po ang ating full-time whistle. And what a game right here. Maharlika were looking to frustrate the Stallion Laguna attack because they did mention they respect the Stallion offense and opted to play defensively. But a tough evening for Manila, but we did have Laguna just going all the way in this one.
Oh, sheer dominance by Stallion Laguna FC. We felt from the very start how they controlled possession, how they were able to execute and just vary their points of attack to confuse Maharlika Manila's defense. And it resulted in this 5-0 final score for the first half of their quarterfinal pairing. Still, there is still 90 minutes to be played, but definitely Stallion has the upper hand. Shows you what kind of quality they are at, improving from their, of course, third place finish in the league. And I'm pretty sure with Coach Ernie at helm, they're not yet where they want to be.
Of course, Coach Ernie demanding the best every single time and is always trying to push his squad, as we will take you through the highlights. It was 3-0 in the first half, and Laguna added two more in the second 45, but there was promise from Laguna, and we could say the same about Maharlika, who were trying to play that defensive and disciplined game. Yusuke Suzuki sure was a busy man for them, Levi, in this game.
Of course, hindi na mabilang kung nakailang save itong si Suzuki. I think in the end, it was just, Stallion, 11 quality players on the field, and that outnumbers the individual performances of, let's say, Suzuki, Libre, and John. That was the opener, of course, from distance for Ivanovsky, and we'll see that ball find the back of the net 4 more times throughout the course of this contest.
One of the most experienced players in this stacked squad of theirs, and you can just see the emotion there from Charlie Beaton. These guys are on that high and are just difficult to stop when they get chugging, as we witnessed right here. And there was the goal from Yuta Nomura, as we saw.
And that was really what's encouraging about Stallion here. The goals that they scored came from the initial ball from the middle, and then it was just up to the forwards and wingers to finish. If there was a miss initially, then there's the rebound. There's the second ball. They never give up on the play. It's just all 11 players, well, of course, the 10 were outside. The penalty was the third goal. 10 players beyond, of course, Pepito Hason just having an exceptional night here in terms of being in their being spot on with their possessions.
Definitely, as we saw Christian Ivanovsky seal the penalty in that game. Goal number 2 for him this evening. And there was some action from Jason Pepito.
And of course, Endure, Michael Sims, Maharlika going directly to them. There are 2 forwards. But again, couldn't execute that direct play against this very difficult wall to beat. That is Stallion. Both ends of the field, offense, defense, they were very excellent tonight.
Galiana Trujillo tried to get on the score sheet, as he is one of those men who came off the bench. And I think one player we should not forget was Noy Felonco. He came so close to finding the back of the net. He hit the crossbar, but he was an absolute facilitator in this game alongside Christian Schaffner when there was the goal of Zachary Ford that made it 4-0. There was one more after that, courtesy of team captain Balot Doctora.
And again, this came from the build-up. The initial incursion was denied and delayed a little bit, but Zachary Ford unmarked on your screens with a little help from the crossbar. That was 4-0 at the time.
Pepito getting called to action. And with this game, of course, we saw Stallion flex their guns. A difficult day for Maharlika, but they sure showed heart and played until the end. And again, this is just leg 1. We still have the second fixture between these two teams, where Stallion have a 5-0 aggregate, 5-0 lead on aggregate. And there was the goal of Balot Doctora, making it 2 goals in 2 games for the skipper. Great to see him, of course, on the mend.
for the second instance in the match as we take a look at the final stats. But again, that cutback that sets up the striker in the middle, that's where they really took advantage of the openings from Maharlika's defense. And as you can see in the final stats, possession dominated by Stallion. Shots, that's times 8 on target. Of course, they had at least 12. And even on the set pieces, it was all Stallion. They made good work of their offensive execution tonight. And for Maharlika, again, it's back to the drawing board. It's going to be a long conversation for them. This was their most lopsided defeat of what was otherwise an inspiring build-up for the next season, using this Copa as build-up for that to see nasaang level na ba sila. But right now, Stallion Laguna FC saying that you have to meet us to be among that conversation.
And here's a curveball before we wrap up leg 1 of Stallion and Maharlika. Stallion have their upcoming match, the AFC Cup. They will be playing away in Australia. And when we look at it for Maharlika, yung next match nila ay yung Copa Paulino Alcantara. So we get to say they could possibly be more rested or well prepared. Yan daw concern ni Coach Ernie. How will we be heading into the second game? Because there's a possibility na ma-injure yung mga players or this and that when they're over in the Australia for their away game in the AFC Cup. We'll never know. We'll see how it will develop over the course. Definitely. So that does it for this game. It is Stallion Laguna FC 5 behind Christian Ivanovsky's brace as Nomura, Ford, and Doctora added 1 each, and 0 for Maharlika Manila FC in this first leg in their quarter-final matchup. In behalf of Levi Verora, this is Clara Manzano on call for this match. Thanking you once more for joining us. Salamat po sa inyong suporta. And of course, let's not forget about our hard-working staff led by Direct David Chot Diaz, mga camera operators natin, James Baldoviso, Paula Tagra, J. Mark De La Cruz, Renato Molano, and ang ating replay operator, si Renzi Medina. Thank you very much again, and we'll catch you in the next game. Bukas po yun, dito ulit sa Copa Paulino Alcantara. Stay safe and good night.